This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, the Baba Yaga is back as we review John Wick Chapter 4.
Geek Boner.
Plus, Liv Tyler returns to the MCU. The Secret Invasion Disney Plus show gets a release date. This year's superhero movies underperforming at the box office so far. Victoria Alonso suing Disney after her firing, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, March 27th, 2023.
This is Frank Grillo. You know me. But who are you? Are you the discerning, sophisticated type of person who enjoys all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news? Pop culture references, witty banter? Me neither. I'm just here for the dick jokes.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. Jock it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We jock it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert.
Oh yeah, what's up, listener? Thank you for pressing play and welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
But he's the nerd.
And joining us live from the Continental, the airline, not the hotel. He's at Terminal 3. He's a feared assassin and a former disgraced flight attendant. It's the Rugga Yaga, but we call him Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
Just call me Rug Prick.
Rug Prick. There it is. Rugs Prick.
Or something.
John Whack.
I never reload.
Yeah, I'm mixing airlines and assassin metaphors. What do you want? What do you want from me?
Yeah.
Is Continental Airlines still an airline? Does that still exist? Remember Continental Airlines?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Is it now? What is it now? Is it
JetBlue? I don't know. I don't think it's around anymore. That's how
is
old
it something else now? Isn't okay, I don't know. I think it still exists.
That's how old I am. Anyways.
Do a search. Let me search that real quick. Continental Airlines. Yeah, it's United Airlines.
Oh, United bought.
It got absorbed by.
Absorbed them.
See, you did a little Google searchy search.
Anyways, Continental, the airline that transports assassins day and night, just to the Continental hotels. All right, anyways, look, we have a lot of fun stuff. We're going to be reviewing an amazing action movie, and there's a lot of news. Let's get to the news.
The Jock and Nerd podcast.
My voice is okay. My voice is okay.
Oh, Anthony's back.
Oh,
thank God. I was worried.
He sounds as sexy as ever.
He's keeping it 100% back. Okay, I'm glad you're feeling better, Anthony, because
Thank you.
I have some breaking casting news, breaking just moments before we started recording. Well, not moments. Liv Tyler returning to the MCU, everybody.
Whoa.
I don't want to close my eyes.
I don't want to miss a thing because I miss you, man. Yes.
Wow.
She's returning in Captain America New World Order 2024 as Betty Ross, 16 years after playing Betty Ross in the 2008's Ed Norton's Incredible.
I didn't even hear about this. Wow, what'd you hear this?
Surprise!
Oh, shit.
Of course, the late William Hurt originally played General Ross. That will be played by Harrison Ford. But we have a Betty Ross for the Hulk for Bruce.
That's interesting.
Has Ruffalo Bruce ever mentioned Betty?
Nope.
No, I don't
not
think so.
Not once, right?
Not once.
She can show up and be like, Bruce, why haven't you called me in 16 years? What the fuck? I gave you my number.
Why were you banging Black Widow instead?
Yes.
What's going on?
I saw you with Scarlett. What's going on here? I've been waiting by the phone. I don't know. I think, look, she was a good Betty Ross. I like Liv Tyler.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. You had two good Betty Rosses, right? You had her and the other one. What's her name?
Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, two babes.
Yeah.
And they were both fine in their role. I'm happy that she's coming back. It fits Mark Ruffalo's age. They kind of look well together, probably.
That's true. I wonder how they're going to explain where she's been minutes long.
He ran away from her.
He did. That's true.
Yeah.
He was trying to protect her.
Isn't there like a red She-Hulk?
Is there?
Yes.
Probably.
Oh,
The
wow.
Red She-Hulk? Oh, because General Ross is the Red Hulk.
There's a red She-Hulk. I remember that.
Really? Does Betty Ross turn into a Red She-Hulk? Hold on. This is...
Yeah, she does. Wow.
Oh, my God. Okay, that's what we're getting.
You think we're going to
Maybe.
get a red She-Hulk and she's going to fight Jennifer Grey? I mean, not Jennifer Grey.
Jennifer Grey, and she's
She's
going to
gonna dirty
dance
dancing.
off. Yeah, she's
Oh
going to
my
dirty
God.
dance off with Jennifer Grey.
Do the lift.
Yeah, I guess she becomes a Hulk here. Elizabeth
Jennifer Walters. That's what I meant
Okay.
to say.
Red She-Hulk, Betty Ross. Okay, so
Interesting that she's coming back to this movie. I mean,
right.
someone makes sense because Ross is in the movie.
Yeah, he's the president.
But I don't assume that. Wait, is Ross in the movie?
Yeah,
She's
no.
not doing much. She's like, all right, I'll pick up an easy mill right here. Boom.
Yes, Ross.
I thought Ross was coming back to Thunderbolts. I
No,
forget.
he's
this.
probably in both, but he's definitely in
Oh.
Captain America: New World Order, which
Interesting.
will also have Carl Lumley returning and Danny Ramirez from The Falcon and Winter Soldier, I believe. And then
Let me say something real quick about Marvel.
Yeah,
Oh, and Tim Blake.
Tim Blake
yeah,
Nelson
Tim Blake.
also coming back from that other movie.
Let me say something real quick. I guess, yeah, Harrison Ford is coming back
Yeah.
from or coming to this movie.
Yeah.
I will say, despite the fact that Ant-Man Quantumania was a disappointment for a lot of people, I am appreciating that there's nothing as far as Marvel coming out right now. Like, I like this little... I feel like they're maybe getting things in order. They've slowed down all the Disney Plus stuff. I think they were going to do 4 or 5 shows this year. It sounds like they're only going to do 2.
Yeah, we will talk about that in a little bit but you're right.
okay.
We were,
Sorry.
we're sitting here wondering what's next. But these so far the comic book movies have not been doing that great, and that's what we're going to talk about leading into that. But give us some You're enjoying the breathing room, is what you're saying, right?
Yeah. I just the last 2 years of Marvel, I thought I would like it, and by the end with Jennifer Walters, She-Hulk, and it just was too much. And I think it's smarter to just be a little bit more mindful about not releasing something every season, every season, I guess, fall, winter, summer.
It was a lot. One thing would end, and then you're like, all right, let's roll into the next thing.
Then you would get a movie, and then the next thing would come out.
Yeah. No, after Last of Us ended, I was like, there's nothing to watch now. What do I do? There's nothing on. So, So I think it'll help them smooth things out. We shall see.
You
Listen,
want to just jump into the unofficial date, so we're already on the
yes.
topic, and then
So
go into
because
Victoria.
we just had one of our Discords, right? And Ruggs asked on the Discord, "What's the next thing on Disney Plus that we're looking forward
That's
to?"
right.
Mandalorian is going, and that's going to end. The next Marvel thing will be Secret Invasion. Disney Plus has revealed the date. If you go to the show page, it says coming to Disney Plus June 21st, 2023. The Skrulls are coming in Secret Invasion and Nick Fury. So we have until June. So I think I think like Bob Iger said, we're going to get like 2 shows and 3 movies. I think that is a good pace. I think that's just enough to keep it going and not oversaturate.
The next thing they really need to do, I mean, I know this will piss people off. Well, it shouldn't piss people off, but it'll piss off the actors, is they should just take an axe and cut Echo and Agatha.
Or make them like those special presentations or something.
Yeah, I think they're already too far along. I think they've actually filmed both of them.
Oh, shit, you're
almost in
probably right.
completion. But yeah, that would be what I would do.
I mean, I think they pushed Ironheart back. Also, what about Ironheart? You still want to see the Ironheart?
No, nobody wants to see
They'd
that.
still do that.
Nobody
It was a
wants
weaker
these.
part of the Black Panther, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I think Secret Invasion's worth telling. I think that's an interesting storyline.
Yeah.
Loki season 2, I think, is worth telling.
I think that's the other show we're getting this year. I'm looking forward.
And Daredevil, people are excited for that,
Yes.
so I think that's worth telling. The rest of the stuff, kind of take it or leave it.
Yeah. Maybe sit on a little. Maybe push it back. Maybe see what shakes out of these other things.
Or just extend the phase. Just make the phase. You don't have to do an entire phase in 2 years.
Right.
Do it in a phase in 3 or 3.5.
Why do you think that they didn't know that no one is going to want an Echo or Agatha series? Why? How did they? You think that they did anyone know that like no one wants
the question is, why did they think before the show came out that people are going to want an Echo show? We haven't even met Echo. They announced the spinoff.
I think
that's what I'm saying. Like, why did they have this, like, they seem like they think they know what they're doing. They have this like idea. They're like, oh, we know this is what people want. The idea is that people don't know what they want until you show it to them. That's like every salesman will tell you that bullshit.
Right.
But
was it Bob Chapek telling them you need to make more content for streaming?
I think it was a streaming thing where Disney Plus was like, we need as much content pumped out of you as possible. So Marvel was just trying to fulfill that quota and grabbing straws. Hey, everyone likes that. It was Agatha all along song. Let's make a song. Let's make a movie out of it, or a TV show. Hey, we've got a Native American that's deaf and with one leg. This is good. We should make a TV show out of it. It's like, well, you didn't do the work to make. It'll be
groundbreaking,
right?
But no one will watch it.
Right.
And so let's do it anyway.
It's not even the fact, like, Echo is just not an interesting character so far.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's only like in the world of comics, right? You have a few that stand apart. Like, there's so many characters. There's like thousands of comic book characters, and they all have their origin stories. And there's always, it happens all the time, right? Remember, like, they release, coming up is this new series, and no one buys it, and you never hear about it again. And they try to create this character. Just, it doesn't stick. It doesn't stick at all. Like Apollo says, it doesn't stick to the ribs, But like, somebody said that. I watched Rocky too many times lately.
Well, look, that kind of leads into my next thing, because Marvel gave us 18 things in the last 2 years, causing a lot of pressure on the visual effects artists. Who was in charge of visual effects and post-production? One, Victoria Alonso, which we talked about last week. And this story is kind of fascinating. When we talked about this last week, it was very fresh. The story was just she had exited. Didn't know why. Didn't know if it was a firing, if she had left, what the deal was. Then we started hearing reports about how she was to work with, and she put a lot of pressure on the VFX team. So some more stuff has come out. Turns out, I think she was actually fired.
Oh, shit.
She was fired by Disney, and according to Deadline, she was fired for an apparent breach of contract after she produced this Oscar-nominated documentary called Argentina 1985 that just was nominated at this recent past Oscars. Apparently, it was like a conflict of interest. They told her she wasn't allowed to work for any other studio, and she still went and produced the documentary and did promotion for the documentary. They did not want her to do that, and she took a lot of days off to conduct her own business for producing the documentary. So Marvel says this is why we fired her, and now she is turning around and trying to sue them for this reason of firing her. I think this whole thing has become so crazy. Did you guys see this story? What are your thoughts?
Yes, I did see it. Well, if that's the case, then I have two thoughts on this. Number one, it could be that they just have a bunch of stuff on her, and this is one of those things that they can use as an excuse.
Yeah, I feel like she's being she's going to be scapegoated a little bit.
Like, yeah, I feel like that executives get away with a lot of bullshit, and then they're never called on it.
Yeah.
And now that, they wanted to fire her or get rid of her, and they needed like some kind of reason, they have this and probably a bunch of stuff that they've been saving up for a while. So there you go. Because this would have been the initial story, right?
Right.
If she did it and they're like, no, don't do that. We're going to fire you. Then but this is like, I think after the fact, right?
Yeah. Her side is saying the idea that Victoria was fired over a handful of press interviews relating to a passion project about human rights and democracy that was nominated for an Oscar is crazy. And then they go, she was terminated when she refused to do something she believed was reprehensible. Disney and Marvel made poor decisions. And then Disney countered saying, it's unfortunate Victoria is sharing a narrative that leaves out several key factors concerning her departure, including an indisputable breach of contract and a direct violation of company policy. So it is now some sort of legal battle. She is not going quietly, basically. So I don't know.
Yeah, because this is going to ruin her rep.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she's been there. She was there 17 years. Anthony, comment on any of this?
No, because I just don't know. I don't. Both sides are going to sling mud at each other. Obviously, this is a messy breakup, and see how it plays out. I mean, either she's going to get either she's going to get some money from Disney or she's not.
Yeah.
They'll probably settle, and then we'll never hear about it again.
Yeah, and she'll probably be fine and get work somewhere else, probably.
She'll put out some stuff,
yeah.
and then Disney might look bad, and then Disney will say some stuff, and she might look bad. And,
I mean, the same thing kind of happened with the ScarJo thing, right? Remember, she tried to sue them, and now they're working together again.
well, that one Disney looked pretty bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they released a movie that was supposed to be in theaters, and they released it simultaneously on Disney Plus without really consulting her. And then they tried to say that she was being selfish, and then that was kind of shitty.
Yeah.
They didn't end up. They took the L on this one. I don't know if they're going to take the L with Victoria Alonso.
Yeah, this one they're going to try to.
I don't know if a lot of people. I mean, I know I guess she's big in the LGBTQ plus community, but I don't think she's not ScarJo.
No, but apparently she does have a lot of power and influence in Hollywood. Like, everybody knows her. So yeah, see how that plays out.
See how it goes.
You know who else is having a little bit of legal trouble over there in the MCU?
Ezra Miller.
No, that's the DCU.
No, we have Marvel's Ezra Miller.
Yes, Marvel's Ezra Miller, otherwise known as Jonathan Kang Majors.
Allegedly. Let's put that out.
You may have seen the headlines of Jonathan Majors getting arrested. Here's a quote, statement from the deputy commissioner this weekend. It says, quote, a preliminary investigation determined that a 33-year-old male was involved in a domestic dispute with a 30-year-old female. The victim informed police she was assaulted. Officers placed the 33-year-old male into custody without incident. The victim sustained minor injuries to her head and neck and was removed. It says after police responded to a 911 call supposedly made by Jonathan Majors on Saturday night over an alleged domestic dispute, Majors was removed from the residence by the police. He was arraigned in front of a judge a few hours later. The defendant, the DA said the defendant struck her about the face with an open hand, causing substantial pain and a laceration behind her ear. But then,
was there like a hospital trip too?
I believe
Reported?
there was a hospital trip. Jonathan Majors formally charged several counts of assault in the third degree, single count of aggravated harassment in the second degree. But now his lawyers, of course, are coming out and saying that there is evidence proving the actor is entirely innocent. And then I'm hearing that the victim had recanted her claim here.
Right.
They're saying Majors is completely innocent and is probably the victim of an altercation with a woman he knows. We are presenting evidence to the DA with the expectation all charges will be dropped imminently. His lawyer says evidence includes video footage from the vehicle where this episode took place, witness testimony from the driver and others who both saw and heard the episode, and most importantly, 2 written statements from the woman recanting these allegations, unquote.
Wow.
Weird. What is happening? This is crazy.
Well, it's a developing story. We don't know. There's a lot of stuff being slung around that is, either not true or it depends on what else. See how it shakes out. Like we don't know exactly what this is. It could be nothing. So let's see what happens, because this could be bad. Like if it ends up sliding to the bad side, this could be bad for Marvel.
Really bad.
Yeah.
Not only bad for Marvel. I mean, Jonathan Majors is
he's hot right now.
He's like, he's on the cusp, or I mean, he might just already be like a superstar. Yeah. And he's got the Marvel gig still coming up. He is playing Dennis Rodman in an upcoming biopic.
Oh, get the fuck out of here, really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So like he's got shit going on. Yeah, he's gonna play in Phil Lord and Chris Miller's 48 Hours in Vegas.
Oh,
he's
shit.
gonna play Dennis Rodman.
Oh shit! That sounds great.
Yeah, he's got the Ant-Man. He's got the Marvel stuff coming.
We just saw Creed 3.
Yeah, who knows what kind of Creed stuff might still be in the works? Like, he really fucked up if he fucked up.
So this, and this is bad, and we can't look. Assault is always bad. It's bad if you did this. It's fucked up, but
it's fucked up regardless. But he really fucked up.
Yes, and the question is, how bad is his reputation going to take a hit? Apparently, the U.S. Army had a commercial that featured him. They have pulled that commercial, but at this point in his career, for this to come out is not good.
Well, Jonathan Majors will if he's proven that he's guilty, that's not good. But just like Chris Brown, you could always return.
You can come back. That is true. That's a great point. You can come back, unfortunately or fortunately. I don't know whatever. Not good, but it looks. I mean, it sounds like it happens. It's just a statement of fact.
I mean, Ezra Miller's still got a movie coming out.
Exactly.
Yes.
And
we haven't heard.
And there's plenty of people in Hollywood that are scumbags that are doing things. And his lawyer came out like right away,
right,
and like was fighting it. Like it looks like they're fighting this pretty hard. So who knows? And I guess what you said earlier. Apparently, the woman recanted it. I guess maybe it was his girlfriend. I don't know.
It sounds like it was his girlfriend and it was domestic.
I just can't believe he's dating a 30-year-old.
Well, he's 33.
That'd be weird.
Right?
No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, shit.
Leo
Which is an
dates
easy
21-year-olds.
That's the shocking news is he's dating someone his age.
Yeah.
Why?
That's fucked up. So we'll wait to see.
I don't even date people my.
Yeah, I know. Anthony's the same age.
I was
as
waiting
Dustin.
for you to come in on
Way
that.
too old for Anthony. We will see. It's
30's way too old
this
for
is
me.
a developing story.
The good thing about being my age, mine and Jonathan Major's age, is we keep getting older, but the women stay the same age.
Jesus.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you motherfucker. I envy that.
You got to go for the lowest common denominator.
Anyways, let's see what happens with this. Moving on, we were talking about lots of content coming out, and I mentioned, the two superhero movies we've had this year, not doing great in the box office. It's a little disconcerting. Shazam, second week. We're going to review John Wick 4 in a little bit. John Wick 4 has knocked out Shazam in its second week. They came out back to back and had a 68% drop.
Oh, shit.
From week 1 to week 2. That's not good at all.
That was already a bad open for
It
them,
was
too.
already a low open, and it had a huge drop. But it's not just on the DC Warner Brothers side of things. Ant-Man and the Wasp, after its sixth weekend, has only made about $209 million domestic, $470 million worldwide. It didn't even make $500 million. I mean, I think their break even was like $600 million. The first Ant-Man got $519 million, and the second one $622 million. This thing may not crack $500 million. So that's not a good start for the superhero movies for the year. What will change it? Guardians, Flash. Are any of the DC movies going to do any better? Are any of these Marvel movies going to do any better? What do you guys think? I
feel like Guardians and The Flash will both crack 500.
That'll be the big ones probably for the year.
I think Guardians will do pretty well. Flash, I think, will do well too. I think what we're learning here with Quantumania and Fury of the Gods is, to me, they're both just mediocre movies.
Yeah.
They're both okay, right? There's nothing really that offensive. There's some stuff here and there that's not great, but it's not offensive. It's not terrible movies. I think what we're seeing, though, is the general movie-going audience is just like these type of movies would have done fine 3, 4, 5 years, 6, 7 years ago if it was like early Marvel. But the general audience, just unless you're giving them something new within the superhero genre, they're pretty much like there's a malaise to this stuff. It's just like,
I think,
it's okay.
It's not only that they're mediocre, but they're they just don't have the star power or like the iconic power that some of these other heroes have. Like Superman's going to get more asses in seats, you know? Like these are like third string or Superman light, we want the real deal,
Yeah, at the end of the day we are talking about Ant-Man and Shazam.
Yeah.
Well, Shazam is looking to be even kind of a bigger flop and debacle than Black Adam,
flop.
right?
Yeah.
And going back to Black Adam with The Rock, all these stories about him interfering, going around people, the reports of him blocking a Shazam cameo in Black Adam, and also messing with the post-credit scene in Shazam. And I think you mentioned this before, Ruggs. I've never seen so many people, the director, actors, the writers from the movie, come out on social media and try to do damage control about this movie. It's kind of weird. But now we have audio and video of Zachary Levi going hard on the offensive here. He did an Instagram live Q&A, and he said some crazy shit. We're going to listen to this audio. I have it. We must listen to it. Here it is from his own mouth.
People are slagging on James Gunn because Jennifer Holland, his wife, who is an actress who's on a show, who's on Peacemaker and was in Suicide Squad. Yes, but it's connected to the Justice Society. We used Jennifer and Steve in that scene, in the mid-credit scene in Shazam. But that was not the original intent. The original intent was to have Hawkman and Cyclone be there to inviting me. By the way, this is a little bit of a spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen the movie. Sorry. Whatever. It's all online anyway. So our intent, our desire, Walter Hamada, Peter Safran, David Sandberg, myself, everybody, we had a awesome scene that would have tied me in to the JSA with Hawkman and with Cyclone, and we were thwarted. This is not me. I'm not talking about these things as I'm trying to blame anybody for our movie doing however well or not well it's doing. I am merely coming to the defense of the people that ought to be defended. I'm coming to the defense of truth, because truth is good and we should all live in it, guys. Even when it's hard, even when it's something that might fly in the face of something that we already might have believed before, and now it challenges whatever our idea or our opinion is.
So he doesn't say who thwarted him, but that's what I heard was that 3 days before they were supposed to shoot the post-credit scene, they were told they can't use Hawkman and Cyclone, and they had to scramble and find someone, and they got Jennifer Holland and Steve G to agree to come back and do this scene. This is kind of interesting that he's out here saying this. Does it sound like he's pointing to
It's probably The Rock. It's probably The Rock. Most likely. I don't think James Gunn was in the seat long enough to even do this. I mean, time-wise, right?
Yeah.
So it's got to be The Rock.
Sounds like The Rock was making a power play. Everything I've heard was that he was making a power play when there was a void in DC, and he wanted to kind of step up. He wanted to make Shazam a big thing, and he wanted to make the DC EU or U or whatever the fuck you want to call it revolve around a build-up of a fight between him and Henry Cavill as Superman.
Yeah.
Right.
And it didn't work.
Yeah. All the plans got changed, but then he fucked with these other people's movies, and it's very interesting.
He probably walked in and was like, "There's no one really in power here. I'm The Rock.
Yeah.
I'm probably the biggest star they've got."
I feel bad for Zachary Levi because he's gotten dick twice.
Yes.
He was Fandral and he got fucking thrown out of that movie, right?
There was another story saying he was saying that Kevin Feige didn't tell him like how long his character was supposed to be in the movie, or that it was like a short cameo or something. He was complaining about that. But I think they should fight in the ring for real. Levi and The Rock would be amazing to see them go at it. But didn't he burn his bridges with like the Fast and Furious people also? Like, what's up?
Yeah.
The Rock's fucking going around burning his bridges with everybody.
Yeah, The Rock seems to be like kind of a douche, but like, I don't care. He's not going to find me.
I'm going to send him your address, Rex.
If he does come to my house,
down.
I'll take back everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, he seems like a dick. And I don't know. But that's not the reason why this movie did bad. Like,
Right.
it's not the Rock's fault that nobody's seeing Shazam. I think that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Just a completely mediocre movie.
I don't know why Zachary Levi is so like into defending this post credit scene. That has nothing to do with your movie. I mean, people are criticizing James Gunn because he was like, it just cements that his stuff is staying in and all the other shit's getting cut.
This wasn't even his call. It wasn't like a James Gunn thing. It just happened to be that way after they got thwarted.
Right.
You nosy kids, I would have gotten away with it.
But the thing is that James Gunn saw the movie.
That's true.
So he saw it before it came out.
Yeah.
You could be like, we should cut this because it's gonna make it look bad. But in honesty, like he's like, she is gonna be in the future, so let her leave it in. So I think that he could have made a choice there. He did make a choice.
I will say, though, I think with Bob Iger saying we don't need third and fourth movies, and this movie underperforming, I don't know if we're going to see either of these characters again. We were talking when we reviewed Shazam. We're like, should they do another one? Both of the movies didn't really make a lot of money. So I don't...
No, you're not praying. You don't need to see it. I mean, Ant-Man, you could see him in an ensemble.
Ant-Man you'll see in another movie. I don't think they're going to make another standalone Ant-Man film, though.
No.
And
it's not needed. People don't want it.
No.
People are speaking with their money. They don't want it. You don't need it. And we've got too many other things.
And whether they use Shazam,
they could use themselves. They could use some trimming anyway. So it's fine.
So
Shazam, we won't see probably either. It's fine.
Yeah. And it is fine. It's both fine. Like
he had a full trilogy with Ant-Man. He completed his arc. He completed his thing.
Yeah, if you would have before 2000. When did the first Ant-Man come out? 2012, 13, 14?
No, it was like 15 or 16.
2015, whatever it is.
Yeah.
If you would have said before that came out, 2015, that we would get an Ant-Man trilogy, you'd be like, you're fucking crazy.
The fact that there is an Ant-Man trilogy that exists is fucking wild, first of all.
Right.
That shouldn't be. Like, what? There's fucking 3 Ant-Man movies? How do we get here? All right, anyways, last thing, finishing up with some more DC news. Elseworld news. We talked about the picture of the Gaga in the Joker movie playing Harley Quinn. She had no makeup. Well, now, more set photos of Lady Gaga in the Harley Quinn costume here, wearing a bright red jacket and the Harley Quinn diagonal black and white kind of checker pattern, and a little bit of eye makeup. And is it going to be the Harley Quinn? I don't know. It looks like she's kind of just going out to the Halloween party. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of this look? It's just the red jacket is striking. She's surrounded by a lot of just like no color black jackets and stuff. It pops out. Comment on this look. This is the Gaga. What about her nails? What's on her hand?
I don't know. It's it's in Elseworlds, right?
Yeah.
So we got a different looking Joker. We got a different looking Harley Quinn. It's okay. I mean, none of this shit's going to be like it is in the comics. This is like an Elseworld, so they're taking liberties. So we can't really expect it to look like it should. So it doesn't look terrible to me. It looks like it's just all right.
Yeah, it looks like she's on
I'm whelmed, yeah.
It's in New York City. It looks like she's on the steps of a courthouse, and there's a protest going on, and she's surrounded by officers. Apparently, Harvey Dent also might be in this, or people are holding up signs with Harvey Dent's name on it. Anthony, does this do anything for you? Does this tickle your geek bone?
No, nothing for me. I mean, the Joker's a good movie. It looks fine. I mean, it looks like it fits the aesthetic they're going for, but they're just fucking set photos.
Yeah, I mean, at least she's wearing some kind of outfit that looks like something Harley Quinn-esque, Harley Quinnish. We shall see. Okay, let's take a break here, fellas. We're going to play some promos, and I am super excited to talk about John Wick 4 right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Have you ever been reading through a stack of comics and thought, maybe I should see what this Arkham Asylum game is all about? Or been playing Marvel vs. Capcom and felt like you were at a real disadvantage since you didn't know who half the characters were? Well, Play Comics is the show for you. I'm Chris, and each episode we take a look at video games based on comic properties and how well they stick to that source material. So whether you know the comics and want to know how all these games work, or you know the games and want to find out where all this craziness came from, go check out Play Comics at playcomics.com or wherever you find your favorite podcasts.
Check out what's been going on with the Pop Culture Cosmos Show and the PCC Multiverse.
I see the potential for basically like another Netflix kind of paradigm shift where here comes this other major player. They have a ton of resources. Apple could change the way that entertainment is consumed.
They say it's the only time this year that you'll have stars from each brand battling each other, and we know it's not going to be the case, but they like to say that, and more power to them, I guess.
Well, it's a big first step, bringing all those superheroes together. There were definitely some parts of the movie that I really enjoyed, and then there were some parts that I thought just kind of fell short of expectation.
Part of it has to be something to do with how it's being promoted, and this is a thing where audiences do not agree with critics.
That's the Pop Culture Cosmos Show.
And the PCC Multiverse, every week on Apple Podcasts.
And over a dozen of your favorite streaming and podcasting options.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the Jock and Nerd podcast and want to give back to the show, there's a way you can do it. Join our Patreon fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
There is a link in the show description. You can support the show on a monthly or annual basis, and there's tiers with benefits such as access to an exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out a little bit early. There's bonus content, like we all put up our instant reactions to John Wick 4 this week. You would have gotten that. You can hang out with us on Discord every month. We do a monthly Discord hangout. We just did one last week. It was lots of fun. Got some new people. Shout out Brian Goff joining us. The Brian Goff. That was nice.
Yeah.
As
What's
well
up,
as
Goff?
all the regulars who show up. The next one, Thursday, April 20, 8 p.m., 2023, 8 p.m. Central, April 20. And there's also a tier called You Pick It, where you can pick any movie for us to watch and review. Some of those end up on the main feed. Some end up on Patreon. For example, we're going to talk about John Wick 4. We did review the original John Wick. It is on the Patreon exclusive member feed there. So if you want to hear that, you got to sign up at jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Okay, let's get to it. I am so excited to talk about John Wick Chapter 4. Here are your spoiler alerts.
Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Prepare to be spoiled!
This, of course, the fourth installment in the John Wick franchise that started in 2014. Sequel, of course, to John Wick 3, Parabellum. So, some interesting numbers here. Rotten Tomatoes tomato meter. The first John Wick gets 86%. John Wick 2, 89%. John Wick 3, 89%. John Wick Chapter 4 right now sitting at 94%.
Wow.
8.2 out of 10. 95% audience rating. So, one of those rare instances. Both numbers are very high. This movie was made for about $100 million. The first one, I think the budget was like $20 million. So they've been getting more and more money as the franchise has proceeded, and for good reason. So, again, the first John Wick opening weekend 2014 opens to $14 million. Nobody really knew about this movie. A sleeper hit. Kind of just slips in and becomes a cult classic. 2017 gives us John Wick 2. That opened to $30 million. John Wick 3 comes out 2019. The opening weekend, $56 million. John Wick Chapter 4 opened to a franchise high $73.8 million.
Oh, shit.
It's currently sitting worldwide at $137.5 million. The last movie finishes at $328 million, which is amazing for like an R-rated action movie that's made for under $100 million. Every movie just making more and more money. In fact, according to Lionsgate, I found out only 9 franchises in the past 40 years have managed to set opening weekend records with their fourth outing. And of those 9, only 5 have seen each installment improve upon his predecessor in terms of final box office tallies. This is a very impressive, one of the rare new original franchises that has managed to make more money and get bigger and bigger. This one, behind the screen, in front of the screen, directed again by Chad Stahelski, a dude that was Keanu Reeves' stunt double for The Matrix.
Right.
Turns out to be one of the most amazing action movie directors. Writing this movie, Shay Hatton, Michael Finch, based on characters created by Derek Kolstad, who wrote, I believe, the first 3 movies. Derek Kolstad has not come back for John Wick 4. It's kind of interesting. Starring, of course, in the titular character, Keanu Reeves as John Wick, Lawrence Fishburne returning as the Bowery King, George Giorgio playing the Elder. He was actually recast from the last movie. The late Lance Reddick, rest in peace, playing Sharon, the concierge. You got newcomer Clancy Brown as the Harbinger, Ian McShane returning as Winston, Bill Skarsgård. How many Skarsgårds are there?
There's 3.
There's Alex. There's who's the other one? Then the older one?
Peter
Skarsgård, and Bill must be the youngest one. He's the big bad, the marquee in this one. Then you have Donnie Yen playing Kane. You have Hiroyuki Sanada in this. You have Rina Sawayama playing Akira, and an amazing cameo by Scott Adkins playing Killa. We will get to that. Now, Anthony, Last
Yes.
week, you revealed that you were going to watch all the John Wick movies so we could watch this fourth one.
Well, you could watch it if you wanted. I just was going to watch all of them so we could review this and I could participate.
So you watched them all. Here's what I want you to do. I think I need you to just quickly catch us up on what John's been doing up until this movie.
You want me to do every John Wick?
I mean, you can really sum up each movie in like one or two sentences.
Pretty simple.
Yeah.
John Wick, the first one, he's a retired assassin. They kill a bunch of people. Thugs kill his dog. It brings him back in, kills them all. Kills a bunch of
They
Russians.
steal his car, too.
The second one, he gets basically blackmailed into coming back because he's shown that he's back. And he gets blackmailed into coming back to kill someone at the high table, kills that person, and then that person double crosses him and he has to get revenge. He kills that person on company grounds.
In the Continental, yes.
The third one, because he killed someone on company grounds, everyone's hunting him, and he's killing everyone that's hunting him. And then he gets double crossed by, what's his name?
Winston.
The dude from Winston. Yeah. And he recovers. And then the fourth one, everyone's still hunting him and he's looking for a way to get out of being hunted. That's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it. Do you want to go a little more plot on John Wick 4 or that's all you're going to get?
That's pretty much it. I mean, the fourth one, it's a simple ass plot.
He's excommunicado.
He's excommunicado from the high table, and he needs to figure out a way to stop being hunted, and he has to do a bunch of missions to figure out a way to stop being hunted so they can get from excommunicado to living his life again. That's really it.
Yeah,
and you throw in a bunch of assassins and other people and other layers with the marquee and all these different things and
slight variations, but essentially every movie is everybody's trying to kill John Wick, and he's got to get from point A to B and survive.
Well, the first one is really like kind of unique, and then the rest of them are kind of the same in terms of like the plot.
So,
the plot is super simple. Everything's
they're super simple. So that journey from 1 to 3, what were you feeling going into this movie?
Well, I'd seen one when we reviewed it, and I haven't seen it since. So 2 and 3, watching 2 and 3, and then 4. 2 and 3 was like, there's a lot of action. It's like, fuck, this is a lot. It was almost too much to watch those movies back to back.
I think it would be. Yes, it's relentless.
And then watching 4 a couple of days later, I was like, wow, there's a lot of fucking action. So it was like at times a little bit overwhelming. Just like, all right, like I've seen a lot, but then when I like take a step back, I'd be like, wow, that was pretty fucking awesome action. Like it in the moment, you're like, wow, like you get engrossed, but it's also like there's so much of it that it kind of numbs you. But then when you have a little bit of time to decompress, you go, wait a minute, they fucking did that.
How did they do this? Yes,
and not only that, it's like in 3, I'm watching it. And they're in the beginning of the scene where they're like breaking glass to like grab knives out of in the weapons place, and they're like throwing it. I'm like, wait a minute, like that's fucking awesome.
Yes.
They just like made this scene where they're like breaking glass to find more weapons
and throwing them at each
grabbing
other.
shit and throwing it at each other.
I mean, he kills a dude with a book. It's amazing.
He does kill. He does kill a dude with a book.
Like whatever.
John Wick 2. They do their best. Enter the Dragon tribute with his final battle and the room full of mirrors and stuff. So you can tell like they love action, and
you see it.
I don't want to talk too much about 2 and 3 because this isn't that review.
No, we're talking about 4. So real quick, tell me your theater experience, if there's anything notable, and then how did you feel coming out of 4 overall? What'd you think?
My theater experience, I went to a Saturday afternoon at 4:00, and I was probably one of 10 people.
Oh,
in the theater.
really? Okay.
So it was like there's no theater experience. It's just seeing it on the big screen.
Alrighty.
Yep.
I'd tell you mine real quick. I saw it Saturday, 11 a.m., and it was like 70-80% full, and the crowd was fucking hooting and hollering, and we broke out in applause at one point. I'll tell you what point that was. But I was like, holy shit, it's Saturday morning at 11, and all these people are here, and it was a crazy experience. Rex, what was your theater experience?
I would say about 50% full. I went in a matinee, and nobody was clapping or saying anything. I wanted to many times jump out of my seat a few things. I was like, holding back, but there was no like tangible like reactions or anything.
Shit, I was pretty vocal watching this movie with a bunch of people because of the things that happened. So, Anthony, This movie,
Yes.
longest of the franchise, 2 hours and 49 minutes. Allegedly, somebody counted, I read, there's 14 action scenes
Wow.
in this fucking movie. How were you when the movie ended? What were you feeling?
Again, I have to preface that I've watched a lot of John Wick in this last week. So I came out of the movie theater. The first thing I thought was, wow, that was fucking long. I don't know if it needed to be that long. But secondly, I went, man, that's really great. Like, this is just taking the genre, which we all love, and just making it like, how do they keep finding ways to make one up each movie in terms of action? And I was very impressed with just, I mean, all like these action scenes are just insane. It's just like, it's the, like, I think I wrote this down. Let me just pull it up real quick. But it's literally like, it's like the best action you'll ever see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's, and like, not only is it like well choreographed and well shot, but it's just beautifully shot. Like the cinematography is amazing. If you're coming to a John Wick film for one thing, and it's action, and they provide it, and they overload it, and they do it. I mean, they do it better than anyone when it comes to that. Like when it comes to hand-to-hand, cinematic, stylized cinematography, where you can see everything on screen, they do it better than anybody, and they did awesome here.
Absolutely. I rewatched 3 just to refresh because these movies kind of like pick up right where the last one leaves off. It's crazy. We'll go over the timeline, but I love all of these movies. And at the end of this one, I was just like, I had 2 thoughts. I was like, wow. And I was like, I am exhausted watching fucking Keanu fight and kill all these motherfuckers. What a badass. An amazing journey, an amazing chapter in the John Wick experience. And just like what you said, this should be studied. This is a master class in action filmmaking. The last hour is like all action, and it's like a ballet. And the colors, the backgrounds he chooses for these action scenes, the choreography, the long takes. You see it's him driving the car, riding the motorcycle, doing all the stunts. Fucking wow. Just wow. I fucking loved it. Ruggs, what do you think at the end of it?
There were some, to me, it was mostly great. I did feel the weight of the movie. Like, I did feel like exhausted at a certain point. I felt like some of the things went on a little too long. I would have appreciated some more elegance in it. It was a little overindulgent, but the place where it shows the most is that stairwell scene, where I felt like I was tired of it at that point. And I was like, there's gotta be, do we have to do this? How many times are we going to do this?
That's great.
And so I was like, I was a little bit exhausted at that point. Another thing is that the theater that I went into had such a bombastic sound. So like the gunfire was just so loud.
Yes, the Dolby. I saw it in Dolby, and like the shotguns would vibrate in the fucking scene.
Yeah, so like it was just a lot. It was like I felt like I was being like caned or something. Like it was just like a lot. It was just a lot of like bombast. But that's what I paid to see. So I'm not complaining as far as that. But it was a lot to endure. But I was impressed. And I can't say that I wasn't impressed. Was very impressed with the cinematography, the stunt work, the scale of things, how it moved, the pacing. It was like, it was done like, as good as you can do it. It was just, I just think editing would have helped.
I didn't, regarding the length, it didn't really bother me. I could have sat there for another 3 hours, tell you the truth. Keep it going.
You weren't tired by the time that he got to those stairs?
Well, no, because each of these...
And I mean, it's like we're on the mission with him because now I'm exhausted. Yeah, at the same time he's exhausted.
Yeah, it's very video
Maybe that
game.
was done by design.
It's very video game. I feel like each action scene brought something different to set it apart from the other kind of action scenes.
I feel like, do you feel like there was a crescendo?
I mean, I would say it's either the Arc de Triomphe scene or the stairs scene is like, it builds to the end. And then the end is kind of interesting.
I think that for me, the best thing in the whole movie, there was 2 scenes. All right. The best scene in the movie is Keanu with nunchucks.
Okay.
All right. I was fucking loving that. I fucking loved it so much. I was like, this motherfucker's old as hell and he's fucking beating the shit out of people. And I was like, this is a testament to fucking Keanu Reeves.
Absolutely.
Like, what a fucking complete badass. Like, what a fucking, like Tom Cruise and these guys are fucking 60 years old or pushing 60. And, you know, young motherfuckers better watch out.
I mean, you see that it's clearly him doing these long takes of fight choreography. Like, they don't cut away, and you can see everything.
And the video game scene where top down.
Okay, yes.
That was great, too.
Amazing. That was amazing. Where when they do the tracking shot when it's above.
So good.
And he's firing the, like, exploding shotgun at people. I was literally like, this is insane. This is fucking crazy.
That's the Dragon's Breath shotgun. Also, one long take, but visually, you know, again, it looks like a video game, and you see these huge muzzle flashes and setting people on fire. And I was thinking of the set and the choreography and how they had to fucking film that. I was like, this is fucking crazy.
And then you got the Arc de Triomphe rounding out the third with literally people running around while speeding cars are running past
but
them.
Then also that Berlin nightclub scene with Scott Adkins is also great. Okay, hold on. We got to break these down because I want to just get into these action scenes. Let's go back to that first scene you mentioned, which happens early on in the movie at the Osaka Continental. Basically catches up to there. We find out it's 6 months later after the end of the last movie. John has been recovering with the Bowery King. He's been training. He goes to see the Elder and fucking shoots him in the head. For some reason. I don't know why, but he's on horseback. This causes the Marquis, who is the head of the high table.
You're going to narrate this entire movie.
I'm just saying, we got to catch up on this. Because the Marquis destroys the Continental and strips fucking Winston and kills the concierge in the beginning right away. And I was really sad that, like, they fucking killed Lance Reddick right in the beginning.
So I have to interject. That was a little bit of a weird thing because it was like you just completely undid the third movie in like 2 seconds.
A little bit, yes. Yeah, I guess
it's like, well, why did you even have that ending in the third movie?
I'll tell you why, because they needed. John Wick dies at the end, right? Yeah. And that's the only thing that you get out of it is the rebuilding of the Continental. So they had to rip it down so he could get something at the end.
Yeah, because that's to make
part
of the deal.
All of this worthwhile.
Yeah, I just found that whole plot line where, like, the end of the third, he shoots him off the house, so he gets back in the good graces. And then in the fourth one, they're like, "Oh no, you're not back in the good graces." So it was like, and then John Wick just like later sees Winston.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
and he's just like, "Yeah, I'm cool with you. The fact that you shot me off a fucking building."
Well, so look, like, here's the thing, right? Really, the plot of these movies is just to string together these awesome action scenes.
Right. No, of course.
I also appreciate there's very little dialogue in this movie, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I don't think Keanu says more than a few words at a time. And apparently he trimmed a lot of his dialogue. So, well, he just goes, yeah, or he goes, no, what was it? No
quarter.
No quarter. It's just no quarter. But that's how you use Keanu, right? He doesn't need to talk to be fucking John Wick. So anyways, the Osaka Continental, it is the Japanese Continental, and John is there. And he knows his buddy, and this is where we meet Donnie Yen's Kane.
And Hiroyuki
Sanada, who runs the Continental. There's an amazing fight between Sanada and Donnie Yen, and Keanu and Donnie Yen, and his daughter Akira is also badass. I wish there was a little bit more of her, but that's a great action scene. That's where the nunchucks.
She's in the post-credit scene.
She is in the post-credit scene, yes. But then the nunchuck's great, and you also meet the other character who I love, the Tracker, played by was that Shamir Anderson
there's also
Tracker
they also
dog.
introduced See, I don't like the Tracker with the dog. I thought was unnecessary.
I love that dog. That dog was amazing. He provided some of the best moments.
It's purely there so John Wick can save a dog later.
Yes,
but that guy, you take that guy out of the movie in the same movie as it happens.
Well, I kind of like that. There's like different. Everybody's playing different angles, right? I thought it was interesting that he's there to like.
Yeah, but he's not as cool as Donnie Yen.
He's not as cool as Donnie Yen.
You have Donnie Yen in the movie. You don't need another guy.
He is a blind assassin who kicks so much ass. I mean, I love the moments where he's sitting there eating noodles while there's a fight going on, and they're like, "You gonna join us?" He's like, "I'm coming."
It's interesting, though, that they both of these assassins that are supposedly hunting John Wick are actually helping him.
Yes.
One of them is helping him so he could up the ante and get the get this magic number that he wants.
Yep, that's what I love. He's playing both sides.
It's it's interesting. I just don't think he's needed in the movie.
No, not really. You're right, but I think that it
take
just
him out of
adds,
the same movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he does provide a couple of saves. He's there for like the convenient save in some of these action scenes also, where you're like, who did that? So that was a fantastic scene. Let's move on to
It's very well shot.
Yes.
They also introduced like this big Hispanic guy that's like a good fighter too. I forget the guy that's leading the group. That's hunting
Chidi,
him.
Marcos Zaror playing Chidi. Yeah, the guy's like right hand man that built the Marquis right hand man. Yeah, that guy was very, very intimidating and hard to put down. And thank God they all have bulletproof vests throughout this whole movie because. I mean, John Wick should have died multiple times in the movie.
Oh, John Wick gets like run over by cars multiple
hit
times,
by cars,
and like thrown off buildings.
I mean, throughout
at this point, John Wick is the Terminator.
Yes, throughout the whole franchise, he should have died dozens of times. It doesn't. It's fucking indestructible. I love it.
I just like when he's running around holding his jacket over his face.
Oh yeah,
like the bullets just bounce right off of that.
Yeah, they do. It's a bulletproof suit. They explain that in the second movie.
I know it's bulletproof.
Rugs, you sent that video. I watched it. There's a video of a dude who tries to actually make a bulletproof suit with layers of Kevlar and they succeed. They actually make a suit.
It's a little bulky, but yeah,
it's not as thin as those suits. But he fucking does it. Anyways, let's talk about that Berlin nightclub scene. Why is he in?
I had no idea that was Scott Adkins.
Right? It's amazing. He's in Berlin because he has challenged the Marquis to a duel, but he needs to be part of a family. He left his family.
Is it Scott Adkins or should Colin? Who should
Colin
win the
Farrell
award? Scott Adkins or Colin Farrell?
Or Brandon Fraser? Who could fight the whale? Can you imagine John Wick versus Brendan Fraser?
Three suits, big guy suits.
So he needs to kill Killa, who's got gold teeth and is fucking huge, and to get back into the Ruska Roma family. And in this action scene, you have something that's like this is a very not what you would do for an action scene is have hundreds of extras in the background just dancing. I also love in these movies how the world around them, like people are just moving. It keeps moving. People getting killed in public and nobody seems to notice.
I noticed that too. Everyone just keeps dancing.
Like, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like
a few people react, but even in the other movie, like that.
But like it's inconsistent. Like there's people reacting in the next shot. They're the same people are dancing.
But
and there's guns being fired.
Yes.
Like one gunshot goes off in the club. Everyone's running.
No, but this is the world of John Wick where there are assassins fucking everywhere. Everybody's a goddamn assassin.
All of the NPC characters are just
I buy it in the universe that they're just.
I don't buy it, but it's funny.
That pulled me out of the movie a little bit. To be honest,
I don't buy it, but I find it fun. At this point, John Wick is like kind of like Commando. At this point, the way they portray things, where it's just like it's this elevated reality that like it really doesn't make sense, but you just like have fun with it.
There's a lot of suspension of disbelief, but I love the hyper reality of this world.
It's the entire movie,
it's the whole thing. Yeah. But not only he's doing this action scene with hundreds of dancers. There's 44 waterfalls inside, waterfalling everywhere. There's a fucking dog. Like, this is a complex action scene. The death of Killa off the stair, like, that fight was brutal because he was fucking flipping Wick around. And then...
How does he kill him again?
He ultimately kicks him off the balcony and he, like, lands on his head.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Then he, like, busts his tooth out to prove that he's dead.
Right.
That was a great fight. Like, it was... And, again, these colors...
It was good.
They play a hand of poker before
They play poker, yes. And I love...
Guy gets 5 of a kind, which is impossible.
That's right. I love Scott Adkins going, he wants to kill you, he wants to kill you, and he wants to kill you.
He was hamming it up.
Yes,
it was good.
I thought he was great.
I don't think it's the best use of Scott Adkins. I would have made him the second command, the Spanish guy. I would have
been great in that role. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he would have had a little bit more. He probably had more screen time and dialogue as this guy, as Killa, but like I feel like it's a waste. Like he could have really flexed his muscles and really showed his fighting skills, but you know, they did what they did with him. I feel like that was kind of a waste.
I mean, it was. I enjoyed that scene. I enjoyed the color.
It makes it more fun that you got like a new colorful character,
and like
Rogues Gallery, like Batman or something.
Just the way he shoots these. Each scene has a different color palette and it glows differently.
Him and whoever his cinematographer are just.
It's fantastic.
They have an eye for like everything they shoot could be like freeze framed and made into a poster.
Absolutely, which is why I love this world. I love these movies because of how they shoot these things. So he kills Killa. He's back into Ruskaroma. I love the rules of this world. Clancy Brown's Harbinger, who you notice is also missing his ring finger. He must have done that same shit with the Elder. Is going to supervise the duel, and they play a little game. It's pistols at 30 paces.
Well, the duel, if you're going to go this route, basically John Wick is getting back into Ruskaroma because once he's back in the family can challenge the Marquis to a duel.
Yeah.
To get John Wick from excommunicado back off of Exec.
Like I believe, he like needed a family in order to.
He needed to be part of the family.
Yeah, formally challenge him.
Yeah.
So now this is on. It's sunrise at the top of Sacré-Cœur, and fucking Marquis does all he can to prevent John Wick from making it to the top of the stairs, which leads into that amazing Arc de Triomphe fucking scene in Rush Hour. Have you guys, anybody ever been to Paris?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you've been there, Ruggs. I was there in like the early 90s with my family. We all went there. Lovely city. That intersection we visited, it is one of it's busiest intersections, I think, in the world. Just multiple lanes going around in this giant roundabout. And so for them to shut this down and make it look like it's rush hour, and the stunt driving, the fact that the actors had to stay on their marks, Keanu had to learn how to do a reversed 180 and drift while reloading a prop shotgun. Like, that's fucking him doing that. That was a fantastic
Was
move.
the Arc de Triomphe before or after the scene where they're
top down? It was before.
Before, okay.
Then the next one is, I believe, it goes into the top down. But
Got it.
Keanu trained like 3 months for this movie, and it shows. I was like white knuckling. I was like, this is fucking crazy.
I mean, let me just jump in. That scene is like movie magic.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how did they film that? How did they even do this? This is insane. It's one of the I personally love the tracking shot more above.
Yes.
But I will admit that watching this scene filmed, I'm like, this is one of the greatest action scenes you'll ever see in your life.
Yeah, like when you watch the technical, just everything has to be so precision.
Right.
For this scene to work.
Yeah, otherwise somebody's dead or seriously injured, right?
Well, I don't know if they're using CG.
I don't know. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. That could be the case, but I don't know.
Here's what they're using. I watched a couple of interviews with Chad Stahelski and Keanu Reeves. They talked about this scene. Those are all stunt people actually getting hit by cars. In some cases, they put them on a wire so that when they flew off, they can slow them when they come down. In some cases, the car, with the only CG they used, the car had a pad on it, and they replaced the car. But he's like, he even goes, because you can go about 10 to 15 miles an hour and hit a person, and it looks good and it's safe. He's like, at one point, we were pushing it to 20, but he's like, those are all real stuntmen getting hit by cars. And fucking Keanu and his stuntmen fucking bounce off cars. I love when they're flipping in the air and he's shooting a guy after getting hit by a car. It's fantastic.
Wow.
So yeah, that's all practical shit, dude. The shit they do, like Chad Stahelski has gotten better and better at this shit every movie, and he's pushed it every movie, and it's amazing.
It's crazy. It's like you compare it to all the stuff that's come before, and it's like, wow, they're just taking it another level. It's like, it's almost like they've taken it to a point where you go, how can you even top this type of stuff?
Yeah, I don't know.
Historically, like, okay, like we could take Bruce Lee for an example.
Yep.
Like when he started to kind of take the reins over some of the action sequences and shoot them the way he wants to be shot, like he knows the art form, he knows what he's doing, and therefore he brings something new to the table. Jackie Chan did the same thing.
Yep.
And this is just like an extension of that. I think that the Hong Kong guys did it first, and now all these stunt guys are like, no, I know how we should do it. And it's someone who really knows this craft.
I mean, Donnie Yen is the same dude. Like, he's stunt choreographed a lot of his movies. And in fact, the outfit he's wearing, I saw another interview where he said it was kind of inspired by Bruce Lee in this one black and white like TV interview from the 60s where he's wearing a thin black tie and a black suit. there's a lot of inspiration. Like there's the movie Warriors, a little bit of that in here.
You can tell these guys. I mean, the guys are everyone involved is a fan of the genre, and they put in tributes where they can. They're taking everything that the forefathers, whether it be Bruce Lee, Jackie Chan, everything that's come before it, and they build on it.
John Woo.
Definitely John Woo. There's tons of John Woo in this. Yes, and there's
there's a lot of the Raid in this too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's when we get to that top-down scene when that camera started moving. I was like, "Whoa, what's happening?" And then it just
when it moves
going.
above,
Yes.
and they're like, when it moves above, and then they start following. I'm like, they're doing this. They're doing a one-shot tracking thing.
You see the walls, and you're like above floating, and I'm just like, "Holy shit, this is amazing! Look at this shit." I don't know if that's my favorite or the Arc de Triomphe or the next scene, but also up until now, look, I love the tracker and the dog and how John saves his dog, and now he's kind of brought him in his side, which is kind of important.
They're doing a full circle thing with the dog,
and the dog even kind of gets a story arc, which we'll get into because in the Arc de Triomphe scene, that dude Chidi threw the dog in the fucking windshield. I was like, bro, what are you doing? Do not fuck with that man's dog. The dog was okay.
Well, even the dog, and they did this in 3 too, with Halle Berry's dogs, but like they're coordinating the dog jumping on people too. It's just like they're doing it so seamlessly, like as if the dog is actually there, and it's like, how are they doing
Dude,
this?
that one dog does an incredible leap up a wall in that third movie.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's
I don't know if that's real.
I think
I
that's
don't think
real.
that's real.
I've seen dogs get pretty high doing that kind of
climb a wall.
No. There's like competitive games, right, where they do the high jumps and stuff.
That didn't look real.
I don't know. I think I don't know. But it's the fucking dog is fucking fantastic. And he gets his revenge. So we get that top down video game fucking action, and then we get to the staircase. There are have you been to this staircase, Ruggs, when you went to Paris?
I
remember
have.
this staircase.
I've been to this whole fucking movie. I've been to this whole fucking
You see Eiffel Tower and so Sacre-Cœur, I remember going there. I remember it was beautiful. I remember this staircase. It's 222 steps to get to the top.
I went the opposite way. I think if you run past the Moulin Rouge and go up the street, like you can avoid all those stairs. Yeah.
There's also like cable cars that take you up there.
Yeah.
You don't have to take the stairs. But the first pass, fucking John takes out waves and waves of assassins to get to the top. And that bit is amazing. Just the choreography, the people fucking toppling. And then it's hilarious because that dude Chidi shows up, knocks John's ass all the way down. I was laughing my ass off.
I laughed too.
I was like, oh, more stairs. Oh, there's more stairs.
I felt like that the Princess Bride was going to land next to her.
It felt like that.
I laughed pretty hard when he ran down the stairs. I was like, this movie, and they did this throughout the movie, but they added in little bits of humor to break it up, and I was like, that's pretty fucking funny.
I mean, that stunt
when
guy
he falls down the fucking and like they just do it where it's like they have no music and it's just him. The audio is just him rolling down the stairs.
Yes.
What was the biggest laugh that you got?
Oh, I'll tell you.
That was it for me when he falls down the stairs.
That was the biggest laugh, but the biggest moment was with the dog. Back to the dog. I loved every time the tracker goes nuts. The dog just fucking attacks the dude's nuts. So when there's a moment where Chidi is down right at the stairs, and the dog kind of looks at him like, "Can I get my revenge? And he goes nuts, and he fucking gets him." And then the dude shoots him in the head, and the dog pees on his head.
Yeah, that was the big laugh.
We broke out. I started clapping. Everybody started applauding at that point in the movie. Everyone was like, "Yes, it was amazing. That was great."
Yeah, that got an outburst.
Great dog movement. Another great moment because he gets to the bottom of the stairs, and Kane is there to help him get up the stairs for their own duel that they're going to shoot each other.
Right. Because they're friends, but he also wants to kill him because then he gets
because then they won't kill his daughter, and he can visit his daughter. But man, Donnie Yen's like quiet intensity, the way he moved, the kind of the humor he had in these movements was fucking amazing. So good.
I saw something on Letterboxd that was pretty funny. They were like, "I'm glad Donnie Yen could play the exact same character that he was in Rogue One."
That is true.
Movie.
It's another blind assassin. Exactly.
It's like, oh, let's take the guy from Rogue One, put him in this one now, and do the same shit.
This guy's got a little more sense of humor than that. The Rogue One character was a little more. But
the Rogue One was he was just saying, "The Force is with you."
Yeah, I'm one with the Force.
He had some good lines in this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, him eating the noodles was great.
Let me ask Ruggs, seeing Donnie Yen in this, was that like, were you,
No, I
did that
expect this.
tickle your fancy, or what would you think about that?
I expected Donnie Young to bring it all, and he did.
He almost steals
look,
the movie.
Yeah, he does, and a welcome addition. I think that he's one of the best. He choreographs a lot of stuff. I remember seeing him long ago in Iron Monkey, and going, "Oh, this guy's a badass." So I was happy to see him. I think he brought his A game, and it just proves that like. Even in late into your career, like you could still be a badass, and this whole franchise is better with him in it. So, and I think that they're going to continue his story because you got this post credit scene, and I think he's going to wipe the floor with Akira. Like this girl has no chance. But he's definitely something we could see more of, or who knows.
Also, Scott Adkins has fought Donnie Yen in Ip Man 4.
That's right.
It's kind of interesting.
Well, I like what Donnie Yen does too, because it's like blind guy really, but he like plays it so well, and he moves in a slightly different way than Keanu does. That it goes, oh, this is his own, like it's his own style.
Yeah,
he's got his own thing going on here.
I mean,
John Wick's so much of a lumbering person.
Yeah.
He's very lumbering.
He's much smoother than John Wick.
He just kind of limps around, John Wick. But I mean, the like at points he's just like firing blindly, but at other points he's very precise. So he's just all.
I like when he has the guy on the ground and he just like casually walks by and stabs him like 3 times in the chest with his sword, and then just keeps going.
He stabs John Wick in the hand.
He does.
Oh yeah, he's like, now we're even. He's like, we're way past Eve. Something. All right, so that takes us to the ending, which was very surprising for me. I did not know how this movie was going to end.
It's a little bit more subdued.
Yes, the duel itself.
You get your Western ending right there.
It's very Western. John and Kane do make it up to the top in time for the duel. The Harbinger's there. The Marquis is there. Winston's there. Winston's there sweating because if they don't make it, they're going to fucking kill him. And they do the whole bit with pistols. 30 paces, turn and fire. 20 paces, turn and fire. 10 paces. And the way it plays out is crazy because they both kind of wing each other at the 30 paces. I was like, I don't think they want to kill each other. And they go to 20 paces and then I think John gets a gut shot. And he gets winged again. And then they do 10 paces. Then what happens? John is down, right? Because
John gets the gut shot. So once he sees it, the Marquis, he's like, okay, I'm going to get the glory of the kill.
At 10 paces,
he's an arrogant asshole.
Kane shoots John. John goes down. Yeah, the Marquis steps in. He's like, let me finish this. And I love this line. Winston goes, you arrogant asshole. He hasn't fired yet. Meaning the round is not complete, and John puts one right in the fucking guy's head. And
that's it.
And the Marquis is done. Winston and the Continental are reinstated. John is free of his obligations to the high table. It's all over. Just like that.
And then he just unceremoniously dies.
Yeah,
was not expecting him to die.
No, I was not. He goes, he sits on the steps, he thinks about his wife and his life, and then he just fucking collapses, and then you would see his grave next to his wife.
Do you think he's really dead, though?
I don't know.
No.
I don't think so.
No. They're doing a whole, this is the way to get him out so he can live a life and rest up.
But you know what, though? If he is dead, I still think this is a pretty satisfying final chapter.
Oh, he should be dead. The way he's lived.
Yeah.
This all should have happened. This all's happened in 6 months?
Yeah. Oh, you want to know the timeline? Here's the timeline. From Chad Stahelski. He says, well, we figured the first 3 movies almost happened in a week and a half, somewhere in there. That's my vision. I think Keanu's a little different. I think this is 6 months later. So within a year, I think it all happens. I would say almost within 7 to 8 months. So just less than a year, all 4 of these movies take place.
Yeah, it's great.
I'll tell you why. I think he may be dead, and I think there's ways to bring him back. I think they don't know, and they just want to let it rest for a bit. So
Lionsgate already came out though and said
they want more John Wick. Yeah, well, they're working on some spin-offs.
There's going to spin-off.
We'll talk about that. So before we get there, post-credit scene, movie ends. Real quick post-credit scene. We see Kane, Donnie Yen. He can now go visit his daughter, who he was stalking before. She was playing with the cello or the violin out in public. He's got flowers. He's about to walk up to her, and you see Akira. She's got a knife, pops out in her hand, and she starts walking in the crowd towards Donnie Yen, towards Kane, and that's it. What is that setting up?
Akira losing possibly an arm.
Yo, I thought she was badass and very attractive, and I was like, I want to see more of her. She did a good job.
She's a pop singer.
Oh, really? Oh. Rina Sawayama is who played her.
That's right.
So I thought that was, what did you think of that post-credit scene, Anthony? It was nice.
Yeah, it was good. It's, good tease. Keeps the kind of the thing going. This is that world where no one can really get out of it. Like, you can't really be happy.
Where do you think this goes from here?
Well, I've read spoilers. I know that not spoilers, but I know that they are making a ballerina movie.
Correct.
That it stars Ana de Armas as someone from the Ruska Roma.
So remember in the third one when he visits Angelica Houston, there's the ballerina dancing there.
Right.
It's her is the character, but we will see Angelica Houston in this. Apparently, Keanu, Ian McShane, and Lance Riddick was the last thing he shot was for this movie. Norman Reedus is also in this movie, and they're saying they're trying to get it out summer or spring of 2024. The Continental is a spin-off show that apparently is going to be on Peacock. It's a prequel. Will feature a young Winston and how he gets in charge of the Continental. Maybe there's a young John in there he meets. I don't know. But so I think we'll see John Wick again in the spin-off ballerina. Ana de Armas, I got to say, she has proven her action chops. She was great in The Gray Man. I think she can pull this off. Like, I'm excited for her, for the John Wick people to turn her into an action star. And it also helps that Keanu was there to do all this training, to do a lot of the stunts. I think that it absolutely enhances the fight choreography and the chemistry and the shit you see on screen. 140 kills, by the way. Someone counted. It's just in this movie by John Wick.
That seems low.
And like 8 words,
that seems low.
8 words of dialogue for the Wick and 140 kills, basically.
8 words?
No. He says he only said 380 words in this movie, which is not a lot because it's almost 3 hours long.
Who said John Wick said 300 words?
Keanu said only 380 words in the movie.
What? I don't even think it's that many.
I mean, that's not a lot. In the first installment, he said 484 words, and that one is like 101 minutes. This is 10% of the words are featured in the movie's trailer. Most of it's in the beginning. But what's...
Hey, let's move on to the movie. Let's talk about the words.
Words. Little words. But look, I appreciate all like the Greek themes, the Greek mythology themes. It's like a Greek tragedy. You have like a Sisyphean staircase. Sisyphean? How do you say that? Sisyphus. The staircase, like Sisyphus, it goes up, comes down, goes up. Herculean tasks. And then like you see a little bit of a spaghetti western in here. We mentioned John Woo, the Warriors. The scene with the DJ.
The ninjas, yeah.
The ninjas and the DJ, like kind of narrating his trip to the soccer tour. That happens in the Warriors, where she's like keeping track of how far the Warriors get across town. So I love all these homages to these action movies. And again, it's one of the few successful original franchises out there that people are still into. It's an amazing thing that they have created. And if this is the end, I'm okay with John dying.
Cool.
Let him rest. After all this.
I agree.
Jesus Christ.
When I watch this movie, I just always think of the Punisher.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Because I feel like, okay, you have Rambo was a one-man army and all that other stuff. And then you have Commando, one-man army. And then you got the Punisher as the one-man army. So, and then now you got John Wick as a one-man army. And he's now he's got the most successful one-man army, I think, that's out there, right? Other than, who else?
Yeah.
Ethan Hunt and James Bond are both one-man armies, but not to this level.
Yeah, they have teams.
Ethan has a team in the Mission Impossible. This is
right.
John has a little bit of help from the concierge and from Winston.
Yeah, a little bit. But he's also like the Terminator.
Yes, he's a lot like the Terminator. Indestructible motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, this movie, for like wrapping up a little bit, like it's genre altering. Like it's something that's going to be remembered, I think, forever.
Absolutely.
The whole franchise, I think, is going to be remembered forever. I think if we're talking about like in the pantheon, I think it like solidifies Keanu Reeves as like being up there with everyone, with Arnold, with with Stallone, with Bruce Lee, with Clint Eastwood, with whoever from the Akira Kurosawa movies. I forget the names of those guys. Like with all of those guys, like Keanu's is up there with all the greats. I mean. He already
had the Matrix. Yeah, he already had the Matrix.
He had the Matrix. He had Speed. He had Point Break. But for him to be doing this at
Man
his
of
age,
Tai Chi, he's had other.
But like this is even bigger than the Matrix. Almost like he does the Matrix and like he does the other two, and then kind of goes away, right? And like this was another rebirth Keanu-sans for his career.
Yeah, he's doing something that like, frankly, not a lot of the guys from the 80s and 90s are doing, which is like coming back and doing stuff in your 50s and 60s and to not be garbage.
Yeah.
You look at the shit Stallone's doing, and you're like, fuck, man, what the fuck?
Yes.
I mean, he like what's also interesting too is like right now Keanu's like taking the lead amongst like the modern action franchises. Ironically, the 3 big modern action franchises are all releasing movies this year. You got John Wick.
Yeah.
You got Mission Impossible with Tom Cruise. You got Vin Diesel with Fast and the Furious. They're all releasing movies this year.
Yeah.
And right now, John Wick has like just pushed himself to the forefront where he's like,
the bar has
if you want hand-to-hand combat that's shot beautifully and shit you've never fucking seen, like this is the movie.
I think the only thing that's come close on a much smaller scale is Extraction.
Yeah.
Just because it's a very well choreographed a movie where it relies on the character to like sell his physicality and being able to handle weapons and handle people and do fisticuffs and all that stuff. So we'll see what happens with Extraction too. But that's not coming out in theaters. It's not a theater movie. So I feel like it's always going to be like direct to video in your thoughts and how you compare it and everything.
I mean,
yeah. Let me add on to that too. Like, there's a difference, right? Like when it's released in the movie theater, it just makes it seem like this was a bigger movie, even if they spent the same exact money.
Yeah.
Like Extraction spent $69 million on their first movie. Great number, by the way. And like, but you don't think about it in the same way that you would think of John Wick because it never came out in the movie theater.
Do you think that sequel to that movie 65 should be 69? I was thinking that the other day. That'd be funny. Look, I love how they kind of reverse the tropes of the action movies. Like I mentioned before, the third act where you think the bad guy's dead, he pops back up. This doesn't happen in John Wick movies. Once you're down, you stay down. You're fucking dead.
Well, he puts 10 bullets in you.
He puts 10 bullets in you. And Ruggs, in your instant reaction, you said something about he has unlimited bullets. I have to disagree. You see him perform logical ammunition management. When he runs out of bullets, he grabs another clip from somebody else. He grabs somebody else's gun. When the gun is empty, he'll throw the fucking gun. He'll grab a book. He'll grab whatever's around. Like he's constantly.
No, that whole thing with the cars, he was using that gun a little bit without reloading. I would say, but like that's in that particular scene.
In that one scene, okay.
I think it was, they had abandoned, like, okay, let's let him shoot as many times as he
grab
wants.
guns when he's out of ammunition.
I think he just got
shit.
those cool guns that shoot 20 rounds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, you had the armor-piercing bullets because these guys have all this armor, so you got to go underneath the armor and the suits. But fuck, man, this movie should be studied. This is a masterclass in action film. I mean, I think every movie he's pushed action filmmaking to another level, and this is the bar, and it's a great year for action movies.
Look, it's a fucking testament to the whole genre. It's fucking a testament to Keanu Reeves. It's a testament to Chad Stahelski. It's all the things that we talked about. Hong Kong films, all the stuff from the 80s that we grew up with, all the stuff that's popular now. Even Frank Castle, all that stuff, all rolled into one, and it's all there for you. And it does have a future. This whole, one of the things that's great about John Wick, even though like some of the story doesn't make sense and it feels weird, they did create this whole thing with the high table and the Continental.
The world building is fantastic.
And the world building. So it can exist beyond this.
Yeah.
And a TV show that kind of reestablishes this and really, solidifies it would be great.
I mean, the high table has adjudicators, they have harbingers, they have all these people in these weird positions to get things done. That's fascinating. The coins are great. The rules, there's rules, and you break the rules, and you suffer the consequences.
I'm just excited because of like what I said earlier about how these movies, there's all the big franchises are coming out with movies this year. Is like, I felt like for a while, action movies were just superhero movies.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Like, I like superhero movies, but fuck it, man. Action movies are back.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're making fucking action movies.
Listen, that's all we got for action movies were superhero movies.
Right. But they're like, not only like you had to like look to foreign places to find the good action movie.
And that's exactly what I did.
Right.
I would always dig around for stuff that wasn't as corporate, stuff that wasn't as, I guess, it was just kind of more polished and they wrinkled that, they ironed out all the wrinkles and there wasn't any like grit to it. And so this does have it, even though you can make a movie that is viable, that still is kind of polished, but it still have grit too. And
what this movie is doing is it's bringing like action movies back to the mainstream in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Well, I think studios they're risk averse and they're hesitant in this superhero franchise era of trying anything new. But we've seen like Nobody was great. Like this to be an original franchise, 4 movies deep, and each one get better and make more money.
I mean, you look at these, you look at the Mission Impossible,
Fast and Furious is like
when you look at Fury Road, right?
Yes.
And
Fury Road.
and you think about how practical everything was, it's more impressive to you.
Yeah.
Because it's not
Absolutely.
just all CG.
Yeah. All right.
It's just something to it.
Let's finish up here, Anthony. Final thoughts. Rate this movie and rank it amongst the 4 there, since you've seen them all now.
Yeah, I mean, just reiterate, action movies are back. It's made me pumped about the way where the genre is and where it's going. And the action movies have kind of been back, but this solidifies like they're back. And now we've got Mission Impossible coming out, and we've got Fast 9 or 10, whatever that is,
10.
Fastin'.
Your sequence.
So the genres here staying, and action movies are, besides superhero movies, which are kind of action, although they're a little bit of their own thing. Action movies are probably my second favorite genre. So it's great to see. I'm so pumped about it that I'll announce right now that we're going to do a 21st century tournament.
Yes.
At some point with all these action movies. So as far as ranking the movie, I feel like all the John Wick. So here's how I think about it. I feel like all the John Wick movies are like the same. They just kind of level up each other a little bit. But if I'm being honest, John Wick 1 has the most like personal stakes because he shoots the dog, right? Everyone can relate to like
the dog that his dead wife left him.
Right. So like that one has the most personal stakes, but like John Wick 4 clearly has better action than John Wick 1.
Yes.
So it depends what you want. I think John Wick 1 is still just like a more personal movie, but you flip it any day and John Wick 4 could be the best one of the 4. I have them ranked all in the same spot. I'm going to rank this movie a 8.5.
Okay.
The only reason I don't have it a 9, 9.5, 10 is because I just feel like it's a little too long, and it doesn't have the like emotional stakes that like a 10 out of 10 well-rounded action movie would have. But if you're just basing it purely on fight scenes, action, cinematography, it's a 10.
No, you're absolutely right. I'm going to go next. I'm gonna give this movie a 9. I fucking love all these movies, but so ranking it, like 2, I think I would put it at the bottom. John Wick 3.
Most people have 3 at the bottom.
No, I like 3. I'll put 2 and then 3, and then it's so close, but it's exactly for what you said. The first movie, if you're looking for emotion and some kind of emotional stakes, the first movie kills it. But 4, definitely, the action filmmaking is at its best. It is the best stunts. I didn't mind the length. I didn't think it was too long. I could use more, keep it coming. It is all repetitive, but they give you what you're there to see, and it's fucking glorious. So it's really close. Like, I want to put 4 first. They're tied. I don't know. But just like you said, on any day, it could flip. 1 has a better story. 4 has absolutely the finest action shit I've seen in a long time anyway. Drugs.
And the order is 1, 4, 3, 2.
Okay.
That's the way it is.
Okay.
Interesting.
It's John Wick, the first one is It's one that started it all.
Yeah.
It's got the most emotional connection. It sets the tone. It's a conventional small movie, right? 14 million it cost or something like that.
The first one cost like 14 or 20 million. Yeah, something like that. Maybe
right.
20 million.
So on a movie with that small a budget,
That's true.
That's a fucking accomplishment.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. This movie's got like, what, 100 million?
100 million.
All right. And they use every cent of it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to give it a rate. I mean, the other two 3 is fine and 2 is fine. I think 3 is longer and has, I guess, it just is, it's packed with, it's got Mark Dacascos in it, you know?
Yeah, he's
He fights the 2 guys from the raid too, which is fucking awesome.
He gets thrown through so much glass. In that,
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Just constantly glass.
Yeah, I remember in the theater watching number 3 and I was like, whoa, this shit's still going. Oh my God, there's still more.
Yes.
And then this did even more than that.
Yes.
So but of course I had more time, but like rating wise, man, I'm thinking about giving it a 9 too.
Nice.
So, I'm going to give it a 9. And the reason why, I mean, there's a lot of shit that bothered me in this movie, but it being a little too long and the fact that nobody gives a shit in a nightclub that there's,
it's a John Wick world, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. You can explain that.
They were dancing. They were on Molly's. Nobody's paying attention.
I thought it was good. I think that I saw Keanu Reeves wielding nunchucks not in the typical way that you'd see them, not in a Bruce Lee way, in a Keanu way. Mm-hmm. And there's a whole body language to Keanu. There's the lumbering. There's the direct, precise movements. He's flipping around on people while he's looking for like the weakness and under the armor, getting it in there, you know? So, that's just brilliant. It's just done with such precision that I have to just respect the craftsmanship. And, so where the writing and some of the choices are lacking, the action is just so good. You cannot deny its power. So that's why it's got a 9.
I mean, I can honestly say I was kind of blown away by this fucking movie. Regarding the nunchucks, there's another article I read where Keanu is lefty, but he decided John Wick should be righty. But you also see him switching hands at certain points with the nunchucks and weapons. So he's a little ambidextrous, which is kind of impressive to do that. And then the other thing I wanted to mention is you see all these stories about Keanu, and he seems like the fucking nicest, coolest, down-to-earth guy. Like, he helps people out. He gives them money when he finds out they're in need. There's pictures of him just riding the subway. He lives in New York. He still takes the fucking subway. Like, just seems like a really cool dude that you want to have a beer with. So that helps. That helps. He's a cool guy. I want to hang out with Keanu. Okay, we're not done. Let's find out what the listeners thought about John Wick 4 in news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
All right, Jesse Rodriguez comments, fuck yes, 10 out of 10. I'm fucking impressed. My order for the series is 1, 4, 3, 2, just like Ruggs.
That's what I said.
That's like Ruggs. He says Donnie is fucking amazing in this movie alongside Keanu. Also, being in construction and having a father that's an architect, the series deserves appreciation for the locations they choose, the buildings they place the characters in, and the overall aesthetics and cinematography. However, this movie could have been buttoned up to a 2-hour, 15-minute runtime, but overall, the series is just straight exceptional for action fans. Also, this one's a fan favorite for B action movie fans, with Scott Adkins getting a great moment with a fat suit.
All they needed was Frank Grillo.
Yes. Oh, my God. They need to make another one with Frank Grillo. And then he says, also, how about Klaus? I am Klaus. LOL. Entire theater was rolling. I don't remember.
I am
Groot.
What was that part?
The Ruscaroma.
I am
right?
Klaus.
Isn't that guy with Klaus part of the Ruscaroma?
Yeah, he just says, I am Klaus, like I am Groot.
I am Klaus.
Yeah.
And then, also, like, I guess John's real name is Jardani. Maybe is that his, like, given name? She keeps calling
him. This is Belarusian name.
This is Belarusian name, Jardani. Yeah. Oh, and Jose Ibarra says, was it longer than it needed to be? Yes. Could I go for another 3 hours of this? Abso-fucking-lutely. I fucking loved it. The shot from above and Wick is clearing out rooms with incendiary ammo was pure gold. I nearly jumped out of my seat for the Donnie Yen Hiroyuki Sanada face-off. Lastly, shout out to the Marquise Taylor Absolute Drip. I guess
you know what drip means?
It means very fashionable, looks nice, looks good.
Yeah.
I guess he was dressed well. I didn't.
Oh, I thought we were talking about peeing and like.
No, that's when you got to get your prostate checked. That's when you're my age. It's still dripping. No, absolute drip means good fashion, right?
Good fashion, yeah. Your drip is your fashion.
What'd you think of his outfit? I didn't really notice.
Yeah, he looked good.
He did look good.
Everyone looks good.
Yes.
John Wick looks good.
Yeah, all the costuming is fantastic. The suits look sharp. And
they pay attention to detail.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
For sure.
Oh yeah. Blake Braden says, my reaction to this movie is the same as the above comments with only one slight change. The ending felt very thrown together last minute. I know they were supposed
I'll agree with that.
I know they were supposed to film 4 and 5 back to back, but plans got changed. I just wish for a different ending. The same outcome can happen, but I didn't feel the emotion of Wick's death after seeing him in 4 movies. I thought I'd garner a bit more emotion, but it just felt so quick and done with. I agree. I have to agree. I was like, oh fuck, he's dead. That's it. That's how they're gonna end it. Yes, they were supposed to make 4 and 5 back to back, but you can kind of see how this movie probably, if you split it in 2, you got to pad it more. So I think they just decided to shove it all in one thing. I'm glad they didn't do that, but I would love to see more John Wick. So those are the comments, and then finally, Rick Martinez posted this trailer for a Netflix show, animated show with the caption Geek Boner.
Geek Boner.
It's Gamera Rebirth official trailer from Netflix. Did you guys check this out? It looks.
I did.
It looks. What do you guys think? It looks pretty sick. The animation looks great.
I'm definitely down for this. 100%.
I think it looks great. I think it looks really good. I don't even like anime, but Gamera needs some love, and if they can make those fucking characters from the 60s and 70s, those kaiju that he battled, like give them a modern twist and do it with this anime style. Like I think that one is Jiger. Is that Jiger?
He's fighting a bunch of kaiju.
The one that they're featuring the most is Jiger.
Okay.
And like, he's a kind of a silly looking character in the movies, but they made him look cool. So I'm curious to see if they do that with all the characters.
Streaming worldwide this year, it says, but no, I thought that fucking the cell shading with hand drawn, however they're doing this, looks fucking dope. Camera looks great. You see him flying.
I think they're doing all the shows like that now. Like it's CG, but it's got like a 2D look to it. It's very similar to what they did with the both Godzilla animation. What they did with the first Godzilla animation was like 3 movies, and it was done like this. Then they did another one called Singular Point, where Godzilla was animated like that, but everybody else was hand drawn.
Yeah, this looks better than that a little bit.
I kind of like the way they did it in Singular Point with the hand drawn characters, because for some reason the regular human characters always look like they're from the Wii or something. Like it's just remember the little Wii.
Yeah, your Wii person.
Yeah,
that's me.
Look like.
Yeah.
They kind of have that quality to it, so they need to do something different with that. But looks great. I mean, as long as it's not boring,
right?
Like the 2 Godzilla things that they put out, the 2 animations for Godzilla, one was 3 boring movies.
Yeah, I didn't like those. I didn't like those. I tried to watch them,
and then Singular Point was even more boring. So
I could not finish those. I was like, I don't want to watch this.
Horrible.
Anymore. Yeah, it was not
so
good.
it's not like, and it's not about how it looks.
Yeah.
It's about what the fuck is the story? Is it engrossing? Is it embracing? We want to see. Let them fight. I want to see like the aesthetic of Pacific Rim, where like the first one, where Del Toro had like them just slugging it out. It felt like a fucking action film. It felt like, and even Kong and Godzilla, the new one, that was story wise terrible, but it was entertaining.
They were fighting. Yeah. Now, this looks great, and I thanks to Anthony, I've seen the Gamera trilogy from the 90s, which is awesome.
Yeah,
go back and watch some of those films from the 70s.
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna watch this. I don't know if I'll watch the older one. The 90s Gamera got me into it. I was like, this is cool.
Gamera versus Giron is one of the fucking craziest movies you'll ever see.
Okay, maybe I'll check that one.
He fights a kaiju that has a knife for a nose and shoots ninja size out of his nose.
Oh, ninja nose.
Yeah.
Ninja knife nose.
He's basically knife head.
Sure.
Knife head, yeah.
Why not? Who was I talking to? Somebody said where's this on the show or is it in the Discord? That like ninjas, it was on the Discord.
Discord, you're talking about.
Yeah, people who know ninjas go, it's all pretty accurate, except they never use throwing stars because it's inefficient and they have to go get them, and it's kind of a waste of metal, which makes sense. But I'd like to think that they did use ninja stars.
Yeah.
Okay, let's finish up.
They existed. They just probably weren't as used as much.
Yeah, just watch Enter the Dragon's. What is it? In the Dragon's Den?
Ninja in the Dragon's Den.
Dragon's Den. It's a classic. Okay.
I'll tell you the legend of the ninja.
Shaka Ninja. If you listen to the end of last week's episode, you'll know what we're talking about. Okay, let's finish up with some what are we watching. Anthony, have you watched anything of note?
I'll let you guys talk about Mandalorian because I think I'm going to just binge it before the end of our.
Okay.
But because of John Wick and because of John Wick, I decided I need to see what are the other the action movies that everyone talks about, and I watched The Raid for the first time.
Oh shit! And
it's fucking awesome.
One of the greats. One of the greats.
It's a great movie. Yeah. It's a great action movie. Is it? Are we talking about like Schindler's List here? No. Are we? If we're talking about game-changing action movies, is the one that a lot of people talk about. I've seen a lot of inspiration in Dread, in the Daredevil series. Yep. And they fucking I don't know how you say his name, but
Iwo Kuwais, I think.
Man can move, and it like they shoot everything's shot on screen, but it's different. There's a lot more of like a chaos to this. Like Bruce Lee is like beautiful ballet. Jackie Chan is like interacting with like objects around him. John Wick is kind of like beautiful gunfighting, like cinematic. This is just like straight up fucking let's kill people. and The Raid is great. It's I don't have much to say. I mean, it's fucking like everyone's seen it that it likes action movies. I was late to the game. I've always been aware of it, but I never actually sat down and watched the entire movie, and can't wait to watch The Raid 2. That's
I will admit, I got to
really fucking good.
I got to catch up on these two, and it's often
you never seen
referenced. No, I've seen parts of them, but I've never said the whole thing.
Raid is.
I want to watch both of them, and if we're doing this tournament, I will be watching both of them because
the Raid will be in the tournament.
Absolutely deserves to be in there. So right on.
What are Ruggs? Just what is your history with the Raid? When you first saw it, what did you think?
Oh, I thought it was pretty badass. I was like, whoa, these motherfuckers are serious. It's like very brutal. It's
brutal.
It's totally brutal. It is like maybe an homage to Game of Death, where like Bruce Lee is fighting his way up a tower.
Oh, yeah, that's good. That's a good point.
And I caught that immediately, and I thought it was like very very lean. It was like, okay, we have this premise. He's gutting up this building, and they pretty much use like everything. They're sneaking into things, they're crawling through things, and then when they get caught out there, they're using the environment, and it's very creative in how they do that. And that guy that looks kind of like Genghis Khan in there.
Yep, the little short guy that's the boss.
Yeah, so like I like that too. It's like I don't know if they're doing the Genghis Khan thing on purpose, but that's how I saw it. Like I interpreted like that's the Genghis Khan guy. When he fights Iko Uwais and his brother, the brother that he plays in the movie, when it's a 2-on-1, and it's like it's a great fight when they do a 2-on-1. I mean, it's like, and he's like a little guy, and it's like it's so believable that he's actually fucking both of these guys. I know. It's pretty. I haven't seen it in a few years, but I just remember it being very brutal, and a lot of that MMA stuff is in there.
Yep.
So it's not just all like, because like you got to understand, like the whole thing about martial arts films was Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, Wire Work, Yang Wu Ping, all that kind of historical stuff. And this is kind of like a modern day tactical, using MMA moves, and it's hyper violent, bloody. So it has a forward sensibility, a like newer sensibility, a little bit more of a grittier sensibility than those films.
Where does this take place? Is it Korea?
Indonesia. It's an Indonesian film. But the martial art they're featuring is called Pencak Silat.
Ah.
But what I like about the movie is it's it's like they're featuring the martial art, but it's not a martial arts film. It's like an action movie that they just happen to be using the martial art.
Right.
Right? Like it's like where you look at like so the 80s, 90s, you're like, oh, those are martial arts films. This is not that. It's not Ong Bak or it's not Bloodsport, but they're fucking using martial arts.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's interesting as Indonesian as made by Gareth Evans. This white dude.
Yeah, that is strange
Right?
too.
But I mean, it's
he directs both of them.
Yeah, but clearly all Indonesian cast and crew. But it's
one to watch, Ron, especially if and when we do this.
We're
tournament.
doing this. I got to catch up. I got to watch this. I'm embarrassed that I haven't seen it.
Probably, from what I understand, what people consider it one of the greatest action films ever.
Absolutely, a front runner to win the whole thing. Possibly also.
I'm excited to watch The Raid 2. I don't know if people think that one's better.
Okay. Ruggs, you want to talk Mando real quick? Did you watch the Mando?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, wait. Spoiler
alert.
Real short episode, but a lot happens. Some notable things in this one. A Grogu flashback. We get to see how he survived Order 66. Who saved him?
Jar Jar Binks.
And who
did.
saved him? Jar Jar Binks. An amazing redemption part for Ahmed Best, who did the motion capture and voice for Jar Jar Binks for the prequels. A role that made him suicidal for all the shit he got for being Jar Jar Binks. So to see him come back and play a Jedi that saves Grogu, dual wielding lightsabers,
he's badass.
That's pretty dope. That's pretty dope. And I'm hoping maybe Jar Jar is going to be in the show and then he can kill him like on an episode. It'd be great.
Imagine if he killed Jar Jar Binks. That would be
Jar
great.
Jar is like a senator from Naboo now, right? And they had like a Naboo ship that saved him. So maybe he sent the ship, or I don't know who sent the ship.
Wow.
But that was fun. And then the other bit with the kind of kaiju raptor snatches the kid and they got to go get it. That shit was pretty.
Yeah, they got to climb up the mountain and
They got to climb up the mountain and get the kid who comes out completely dry out of his mouth, not digested at all.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what was happening there, but
what's up with that? How did they not know that they did that was people going to notice that? They didn't care.
Yeah, I don't
guess.
know. That was odd. It's Star Wars, but
It's just
four
one of those
episodes
things-
in.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys: Is Mando living up to the Mando precedence before? Is it closer to Mando or is it closer to Boba Fett?
You know, it has the lowest ratings so far of the Mandos. Not a lot. I think less people are watching
It's not
it.
terrible.
It's not terrible, but it's missing
just
something.
It's just not as good as the other ones. That's all.
It's kind of I don't know where the story's going. I don't know if it's like the story's kind of all over the place.
Well, Bo-Katan tells the armorer about
the mythosaur. She saw it.
About the mythosaur.
But then she's like, you're just seeing things. She's like, no, I saw it for real. But she didn't tell anyone else. I thought that was interesting.
Right. And she saves Visla's kid.
Oh, yes. That's the kid that gets snatched. So, and he goes with her.
So maybe, and now they got 3 of those raptors for their baby raptors.
Yeah, they took, because they killed the raptor and they had babies and they brought the babies.
Mandalorians like riding beasts.
They do. They ride the mythosaur and other beasts. I think it's interesting that the numbers are down. I don't know if people are getting. I'm enjoying it, but I don't know. It's not getting me like the last 2 seasons.
I don't know. Whatever. It's just you got a bunch of people with helmets on.
It is. It's hard. There's a lot of them in this now, right?
And
a lot of no faces.
Yeah, you need something sexy. I need a little something else. You know, this is a fantasy show. Let's go.
I mean, Bo-Katan is like the sexiest thing on the show, even with her helmet on. I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, it's I think there's only, I don't know how many are left. Maybe only 4 more. We might be halfway done with the Mando already.
Well, look,
4 or 5 more.
I'm not like disinterested in the show.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like it's on par with what we've seen in the past, and it's just moving along. Like they wasted a lot of time on this episode last week with this ancillary character,
Dr. Pershing,
and it just seems like it's kind of like doing weird shit, but I don't dislike it. I just think it's not as good as it could be. That's all.
All right. Do you watch anything else, Ruggs?
Okay, so we just talked about The Raid, right?
Yeah.
Which is about a story about a bunch of tactical dudes like trying to work their way up this building. Well, I just watched The Princess, which is a story of
Princess Bride. We reviewed that already. You didn't have to watch
it's a story. It's a direct-to-video film on Hulu. Starring what's her name?
It is
Joey King from from the train movie with Brad Pitt, Bullet Train.
Oh, okay, her.
So she is a princess that has been trained. Like the king has, he's one of these kings who's into diversity, and so he has all kinds of people living in his kingdom, and one of them is from the east and trains his daughter in the ways of fighting, and he wants her to be the successor. But the old ways of only a man can be the successor. It's kind of like a Game of Thrones.
It looks like Game of Thrones a little bit-ish.
So anyway, the jealous brother comes in and he's like, I'm going to usurp this. I'm going to marry the daughter, and she doesn't want to get married. So he drugs her and locks her up in the tower, right? So now she, like the raid, instead of having to go to the top, she has to go all the way down to the bottom.
Oh, shit.
And she has to fight her way to the carrot. And since she's been trained by a ninja, she's a medieval ninja.
Holy shit. So it's an action movie.
Yeah. It's an action
How is
movie.
the action?
I would say, above average.
It's
I would
action
say
fantasy. Oh, okay.
Like above average. You see the average action movie with martial arts. It's a little bit better. It's like a little bit better than TV level, I would say.
Okay, yeah, it's on Hulu. I remember when this came out, and I was like, "Oh,
It's no Frank Grillo movie, by any stretch of the imagination. But there was a couple of parts. It's got Olga Kurylenko in it.
Okay,
Taskmaster is in it.
Oh, that's the Taskmaster. Yeah,
yeah. There's a couple of decent shots in it, but it's not John Wick. It's not even in the same fucking nowhere near in the same.
Dominic
orbit.
Cooper is in it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in it.
Howard
Anyway,
Stark. Yeah, okay.
So if you want to watch an action movie that's kind of like silly and it's a fun little jaunt, but not great, but watchable. The next thing I watched was Sea Beast, which is a movie that was nominated for an Oscar, animated movie.
Oh.
It's on Netflix, and the reason I watched it is because it was nominated for an Oscar opposite Pinocchio from. And so I'm like, another Netflix thing that wasn't nominated for an Oscar. Let me check this out.
Yes.
And okay, I'm going to say this.
Uh-oh. He's got something to say.
Uh-oh.
As an animated film with CG animation, a lot of it is fucking amazing.
Whoa.
As far as animation, all right?
Okay.
Animation, it's CG, detail, water animation,
There's a lot
all
of water
that.
in this. It looks like
Fucking great.
Wow.
Character designs, great. The beast, the main sea beast in this sucks. Essentially the story sucks. It should not have been nominated for an Oscar.
Wow.
It is How to Train Your Dragon. It's the exact same movie.
Yeah, but not as good.
But they put this political spin on it. They're trying to say don't trust the history books. So the whole premise of this movie is there are these sea monsters and this whole society is built around hunting these sea monsters, like whaling.
Yeah.
They have to kill these sea monsters. And the reason that they're killing them is because all these old stories, the history for thousands of years has been that these monsters attack people on land. And they're like, no. And so these few people meet this one sea beast that decides not to kill them, and they befriend it, just like How to Train Your Dragon.
Okay.
And okay, cool. But then 2 seconds later, there's a sea beast that tries to kill them.
Okay.
I'm like, well, that does your whole entire theory that all of these things are friendly. Like, no, this fucking giant crab comes out and tries to fucking kill you. And there's like a kaiju fight between these two things. And, it saves them or whatever. But I'm like, all right, how do you know that this shit didn't happen? Like, your whole premise of this story is so weak. And it just ruined the movie for me. So
How to Train Your Dragon is great. Those movies.
yeah.
are
So
fun.
it's
Great.
basically How to Train Your Dragon with pirates.
Okay.
If you want to watch it,
Okay.
I love animated movies, so I watch them all. It is breathtaking to watch, and it has some great action sequences, and just in generally well directed and all that stuff. Just people need to learn how to write a fucking story, and the characters are great. The characters are great, and you get sucked in, but fucking write a good plot that makes sense, that you don't fucking undo your own rules when you're doing it.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It's that simple. It's annoying. So yeah, I watched The Sea Beast.
Wow, that was nominated for an Oscar, huh? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I watched Triangle of Sadness, the movie that watched.
And did you watch the whole entire shitting scene?
I did. The vomiting shitting scene was amazing. It's a really good movie. You don't know where it's going. It's told in these 3 crazy parts, and the twists and turns are compelling. Woody Harrelson plays an amazing drunk captain of this yacht who does not give a fuck. And the ending is ambiguous, like you had mentioned, and it kind of leaves it up to you, the viewer, to just think about it and decide what actually happens. It doesn't have an ending. It just ends abruptly. But good fucking movie. I really enjoyed it because I was like, what is happening?
I still think about that movie. Yes. It stays with you.
It definitely stays with you.
What do you think about the Greek guy, the billionaire?
The Russian dude.
The big fat guy? Yeah. What do you think of him?
He's great. He was hilarious. He drank a lot, and I didn't understand. He had like a girlfriend, or like a wife and a mistress or something with him.
Yeah, I think he had the mistress and the wife.
Yeah, no, there's some quirky characters. The whole middle scene might make you vomit though, especially if you get seasick easily.
There's a lot going on.
A lot. Yeah, it's very good though.
It really is
nominated for Best Picture. I can see why, because it's different, and it is an experience. It's a fucking journey.
I wish they would have ended it. Didn't you wish they would? Did you?
You know what? It's a like
you know it's going to end that way. Why not just show it?
I mean, it's kind of like the ending of Sopranos, right? Where they just cut to black and they leave it up to you. Whatever you think happens.
Yeah, I hate when they do that.
It's a great commentary on classism and like different hierarchy of service workers and crew and then rich people. No, it's great. I would recommend anybody watching it. It's on Amazon, Hulu. I forget what it's on. I think it's on Hulu. And then Yellow Jackets is back. If you have Showtime, season 2 started. This fucking show is great. I watched the first season. I don't know if anybody else is watching it, but it's fantastic. So is Ted Lasso, which is going on. So fun.
I haven't watched. I got to get around and watch.
Wednesdays is Mandalorian and Ted Lasso, and now Sundays I have Yellow Jackets again. Something to look forward to. And that's about it.
So you recommend Yellow Jackets?
I do. Watch the first season. It's a lot like Lost, but it's better because I think they know where they're going. The premise is essentially this high school in the 90s. It's a split timeline. In the 90s, there's a high school soccer team that's flying to a game. Their plane crashes on a remote mountain, and they are stranded for 18 months. While we're watching that play out, it cuts to present day where you meet some of those same people who survived. They're grown up. They have lives, and there's shit going on in the present day. Melanie Linsky, who played Kathleen in The Last of Us, that nobody liked.
Oh, I can't stand that.
She's in it. She's great in this. Juliette Lewis is in it. Christina Ricci is amazing in it. The twists and turns that you will have theories about what happened to them in the past. How do they survive? Did they resort to cannibalism? They tease all these things. It's fucking great. What
about lesbianism?
Well, there is that in there also. And there's present day.
All the
isms are in there. There's present day shit that's going on that's crazy, that's tied into the past, and it goes back and forth. The 90s needle drops are great when they play them. And I like the flashback scenes better when the kids are stranded in the woods and seeing what they're doing there. It's fucking great. It's such a good show. Highly recommend it.
Okay.
Yeah, check it out.
All right. You pique my interest with the lesbian.
You might get hooked. You get hooked after the first episode.
All right, cool.
You're like, what the fuck is this? All right, that's it for this week, everybody. Check out Rugs. Where can the listener find you?
You can find me on Twitter at ReallyRugBoy. Come by, follow me. Give me your support. Like my retweets.
Support the Rugs.
Sure.
All that shit is in our show notes for this episode and ways how to support and get in touch. Most importantly, share the show, listener. We would appreciate it. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
We will peep you next time.
This is going great.
Some motherfuckers are always trying to ice skate uphill.
I want your head up when I throw my fist in the air.